There's a figure who echoes through millennia, whose words have shaped civilizations, yet whose true message, perhaps, has been obscured by centuries of interpretation and dogma. We're not talking about the Jesus of established theology, but the radical master of self-transformation, the existential philosopher who pointed to a reality far beyond what our conditioned senses and minds can perceive. At The Silent Way, we don't seek easy answers. We invite you to immerse yourself in the deepest questions. Today, we'll unveil Jesus as a catalyst for consciousness expansion, a beacon for the inner journey that frees us from the invisible chains of our own limited perception. And to do that, we must face a formidable adversary, the most complex of all, ourselves. The phrase, "The kingdom of God is within you," isn't a poetic metaphor for a celestial future. It's an urgent, radical summons to the here and now. Jesus challenged the search for external sanctuaries, for distant divinities, to compel us to recognize the inherent sacredness of consciousness itself. This is the essence of profound self-knowledge, the understanding that divinity isn't something to be achieved through merit or sacrifice, but something to be unveiled, unearthed from layers of forgetfulness. How often do we search outside for what has always been within us? This external search is the great illusion that traps us. Jesus, much like Sufi masters who spoke of the awakening of the heart, or Indian Vedantists who taught Tat Tv Am Asi, thou art that, the intrinsic identity between the individual and the absolute invites us to redefine our perception of faith. True religion, in this sense, is the rediscovery of this sacred inner space where the individual I merges with the universal, revealing an inexhaustible source of peace and wisdom that doesn't depend on external circumstances. It's the awakening to our own divine essence, which dwells in the silence of our soul, waiting to be recognized. When Jesus spoke of losing one's life to gain it, or dying to oneself, he wasn't advocating for literal annihilation, but for an alchemical transmutation of the ego. The ego, with its identity constructs based on our traumas, societal expectations, the voices we've heard since childhood, our fears, and our anxieties, is the thickest veil obscuring the true nature of the self. This ego, with its defenses and reactive patterns, is, ironically, our greatest enemy. It's what prevents us from achieving the life of our dreams, what sabotages our relationships, what feeds our insecurities, and what keeps us trapped in cycles of suffering. It's the sum of everything that was imposed upon us, everything we were told we should be, the limiting beliefs we've internalized. Jesus' message here is clear and brutally honest. Consciousness expansion demands detachment from fabricated identities, victim narratives, and the masks we wear to protect ourselves, but which, paradoxically, imprison us. It's the journey of emptying that echoes in Buddhism with the concept of anatta, non-self. The understanding that the self we believe ourselves to be is an illusory construct. In Zen philosophy, they speak of beginner's mind, an unlearning to learn anew. In Western mystical traditions, they seek unio mystica, the union with the divine through the transcendence of the personal, conditioned self. Jesus, therefore, emerges as an architect of psychological liberation, a precursor to the deconstruction of the ego to reveal the vastness of consciousness. He invites us to face our own shadows, our deepest traumas, everything that prevents us from being who we truly wish to be, with all our essence and authenticity. Overcoming the ego isn't destroying it, but understanding it, disarming it, and integrating it into the service of a greater self, allowing our true essence to flourish. This is the true victory, the freedom to be. It's no secret that the fundamental truths of existence manifest in diverse cultures and eras, regardless of religious labels. Jesus' teachings, when stripped of their theological wrapping and analyzed through a more universal lens, reveal a remarkable consonance with other great currents of wisdom aimed at consciousness expansion. His counsel to not resist evil, for instance, can be read as a premise for the radical acceptance of present reality, a central principle in philosophies like Stoicism, which teaches focusing on what can be controlled and accepting what cannot. It's also a pillar in mindfulness practices, which invite us to observe experience without judgment, allowing inner wisdom to emerge. The statement, "I and the Father are one," resonates deeply with the Platonic notion that the individual soul is a spark of the divine, a recollection of the perfect world of forms. Or, with the unity manifested in concepts like the Chinese Tao, the primal force governing the universe, or the Hindu Brahman, the ultimate transcendental reality. Jesus didn't bring new wisdom in the sense of never before conceived, but reintroduced perennial truths, adapting them to his time and cultural context. He was a crucial link in the great chain of masters who pointed to the interconnectedness of everything, to the holographic reality of the universe where each part contains the whole. He invites us to see that truth isn't the exclusive property of one tradition, but a universal heritage of consciousness. Whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. This isn't a magic formula for obtaining material goods, but a profound declaration about the power of consciousness in co-creating reality. It's not about an external deity granting favors, but about a universal principle where pure intention, unwavering faith, understood as an inner certainty, becomes the driving force for manifestation. Jesus here aligns with universal laws that transcend Newtonian physics, entering the realm of quantum mechanics, where observation and consciousness influence outcomes. This belief isn't an act of submission, but of alignment with the greater laws of the universe, a recognition of the inherent potential within human consciousness to shape its own experience and reality. It's your expanded consciousness, free from the shackles of ego and trauma, that becomes the architect of your existence. When you understand and overcome what was imposed upon you, what you were told, your traumas and fears, you unlock your true essence. And your intention becomes pure, powerful, capable of attracting and manifesting the life your soul yearns for. It is we ourselves, with our beliefs and fears, who often impede the life of our dreams. Jesus offers us the keys to this freedom. The idea that profound teachings were hidden or misinterpreted isn't just a conspiracy theory, but a historical observation of how institutional power can reshape wisdom for control. The final secret Jesus supposedly revealed, then, isn't a complex esoteric mystery or a revelation for the select few, but the radical simplicity of truth. The divine spark resides within each of us, and the key to liberation lies in transcending the ego's illusions. True salvation is the awakening to this inner reality, a liberation from illusions, from the conditionings imposed by society, by family, by internalized fears. It's an invitation to spiritual autonomy, to an unceasing search for truth that can only be found within, by confronting and transcending the traumas and narratives that limit us. When we reconnect with ourselves, seeing all our layers, our deepest traumas, everything that prevents us from being who we truly wish to be, with all our essence, we begin the process of healing and liberation. This journey of facing what was imposed upon us, what we were told, is the essence of consciousness expansion. It's the rediscovery of this forgotten treasure, the breaking of the chains that prevent us from reaching fullness. The figure of Jesus, when viewed through the lens of consciousness expansion and ego transcendence, emerges not as a religious leader, but as a beacon for the inner journey we are all invited to undertake. He doesn't offer a path to be blindly followed, but an inspiration for self-discovery, for the recognition of our own divinity and our capacity for liberation. May his message inspire us to transcend imposed limits, to question the superficial, and to seek the depth of our own consciousness. May it motivate us to face our greatest adversary, the ego, and to deconstruct everything we were told and that imprisons us. Freedom, the life of your dreams, your purest essence, are not somewhere distant, but await for you to unearth them within yourself. The journey is yours. The power is in your hands. If this perspective on Jesus, consciousness, and the ego brought you new insights, we invite you to join our growing community. Press the like button, share your reflections in the comments below, and subscribe to The Silent Way to continue this path of expansion with us. Your presence makes this journey more meaningful.